Warzone 2 has Resurgence, which means a smaller map with more close quarters fights, making it incredibly important what close range weapons you're using. Which is why I'm giving you guys the top 5 close range weapons in Warzone 2 that will ascend your gameplay above the competition. And don't worry, these weapons will also help tremendously on Al Mazrah. Welcome back, I'm Austin, and the 5th best close range weapon is the Chimera. Why is an AR so good up close? It's because it has a 525 millisecond time to kill, matching the fastest TTK of any SMG. It also has a built-in suppressor because it's the Honey Badger, and that's just cool. It also has the range of an assault rifle, meaning it has 23 meters of range with that 525 millisecond TTK. Most SMGs are between 8 to 12 meters at their top time to kills, and this is faster than all but one of them. But after all that, why doesn't it make it higher on this list? It's going to be for 2 reasons mainly. First, it has a much slower mobility, which hurts your ability to rotate and make plays with movement. Second, it has quite bad recoil, the worst on this list by far. That's why it is exclusively a close range weapon. But on top of the recoil, it does have a lower damage per mag, which isn't a great combo, but it has a great fire rate, time to kill, and range, making it a great option for an above average player. And going to the class setup, we're going to start off by trying to fix the recoil because we do want to use it out to 23 meters and take advantage of that range. So we start with the lock grip precision barrel, which does hurt our ADS a bit, but it helps our recoil by 9%. And then I'm going to tune it towards ADS speed at negative 0.23, and I'm not going to touch the left side. Then we go with the 45 round mag because that's the biggest magazine we can get, and it gives us the best damage per mag possible. Then we have this VLK LZR 7MW laser because this will help with our ADS speed and sprint to fire, and this will make up for using the lock grip precision and still be keeping us with some pretty good mobility. And for the tuning, I'm going to go towards sprint to fire speed at negative 0.37 and towards ADS speed at negative 8.23. And then I don't love the iron sights on this weapon, so I actually use the Cronin Mini Pro optic here. And the final attachment will be this D37 grip, which is going to be helping us with recoil control because, like I said, this thing kicks quite a bit, but once you put on these 2 attachments, it's very manageable to use out to 20 meters. And for the tuning, we're going to go towards recoil steadiness at plus 0.48, and then we're also going to go to sprint to fire speed at negative 0.33. So this weapon, we're going to tone down the recoil and increase the sprint to fire speed and ADS. The 4th best close range weapon is the PDSW, aka the P90. It's basically the opposite weapon of the Honey Badger and is for the movement kings. The P90 has the 3rd slowest time to kill up close for SMGs at 594 milliseconds, which is why it isn't at number 1 on this list, but it has everything else going for it. It has the best range for a submachine gun at 14 meters, a fast fire rate at 909 rounds per minute, the best hip fire, no recoil, and the best movement after attachments. The P90 has attachments that increase its sprint speed, which makes it the only weapon to make you feel like you have Warzone 1's movement. The weapon is incredibly easy to use, making it great for everyone, but the time to kill will lose you a fight from time to time, which is why it's at number 4. And if we look at the class setup, we're going to start off by using this X10 Razor Comp muzzle to help with our recoil control, and we're going to be tuning it towards recoil stabilization and gun kick at plus 0.21 and plus 0.12. Next up, we're going to use the overpressured ammunition, which gives us target flinch, and that's going to help us tremendously because of the time to kill being a little bit slower. So by doing this, you cause your enemy to flinch more, making them miss a bullet, which will then make your P90's TTK better than other SMGs. And for the tuning, I'm going to go towards damage range at plus 0.61 and towards bullet velocity at plus 6.39. And the reason we do this is because that's the best range on SMG, so we're trying to accentuate that stat. Then from there, we're going to go with this GR33 light rail. And what does this do? It gives us plus movement speed, and that's why this thing has you zooming around the map. And for the tuning, we're going to go all the way to sprint speed at negative 0.5, and then we're going to go to sprint to fire speed at negative 0.19. So you're going to be moving really quickly, and then after that, you can shoot really quickly off of it. Great combination. Then I go with the VLK LZR laser because once again, this gives us ADS and sprint to fire speed. And for the tuning on it, I'm going to be going towards sprint speed and ADS at negative 0.23 and negative 18.1. And for this last attachment, you can pick one of 2 things. I go with this TV Tacom because it gives us sprint to fire speed and ADS speed, which I find to be incredibly important. But you could go for the stock over here, the CQB, that actually increases your sprint speed and ADS, but it doesn't help our sprint to fire speed, which is why I end up going with this comb. And for the tuning on it, I go at negative 0.28 for aim locking speed, and I go to plus 0.15 on aiming idle stability. Can you help me out and get this video to 50 likes, and then I'll help you out with an extra close range weapon? And make sure to subscribe for more helpful Warzone and Call of Duty content. Now for the extra weapon I was talking about, the KV broadside shotgun. It definitely should be on the list with the 300 millisecond time to kill up close, but it's an overpowered shotgun, and I don't condone the use of it. but here are the attachments if you want to be that guy. The third best close range weapon is the Kastov 74U. This is the Chimera, but better at everything minus the time to kill, which is at 552 milliseconds and is still great. It is the fastest mobility assault rifle, making it feel more like a hybrid between an assault rifle and a sub. And you still have 21 meters of range, and its recoil is very low with good iron sights, allowing you to get an extra attachment for movement or recoil. It even has a super fast reload time, which helps because it only has a 45 round mag. But unlike the Chimera, it has a good damage per mag because it packs more punch with its bullets. This is great to pair with an LMG like the Raw or Sakin, because you can still use it at mid-range if you get caught needing to reload one of those giant things. If we go into the class step, we're going to use this X10 Havoc muzzle again, and we're going to be tuning it towards recoil stabilization at plus 0.49 and gun kick control at plus 0.25. Then from there, we're going to use the Scraggler Tango Underbarrel. And this one, because it doesn't have a lot of recoil, we don't need to use the lock grip like we did on the Honey Badger, and this one isn't going to hurt our mobility nearly as much while still helping us with aim walking steadiness and hip fire control. And for the tuning, I'm going to go towards ADS speed at negative 0.23, and then I'm not going to touch the left side. And once again, we're using the 45 round mag because it gives us the best damage per mag possible on the weapon. And then I use this Demo X2 rear grip, which gives us recoil control, and I'm going to tune it towards ADS speed at negative 0.32 and towards sprint to fire speed at negative 0.3. And the final attachment for it will be the FSS OV laser, which gives us aim down sight speed, aiming stability, and sprint to fire. It makes it easier to aim, and it gives us better movement stats for up close, which is where we're going to be mainly using this. And I don't tune this attachment. The second best close range weapon is the Vaznev 9K that I was just talking about. They nerfed it by hurting its range, but it still has a great time to kill at 539 milliseconds. But a fun fact for you guys, the Kastov 74U actually has a faster sprint speed than the Vaznev, but a slower tac sprint. I just thought that was really weird, but good for thought when picking your weapons. But this Vaznev has no recoil, it's ridiculous. You pair the time to kill with the accuracy, and it makes for a great weapon for all skill levels to use. It also has equal damage of the chest and stomach, making its time to kills very consistent. And it has a fast fire rate at 779 rounds per minute, but it isn't too fast, which makes the gun feel forgiving without feeling like an ammo deleter. And if we go into the class setup really quickly, this is going to look pretty familiar to that last setup on the 74U with one exception. We're going to go with this X10 Razor Comp muzzle, and apparently I forgot to tune it, so we're just going to bring this up 2.52 or 5.3, and then we're going to go towards gun kick control at plus 0.23. And from there, we're going to go with the Scraggler Tango because once again, this helps with hip fire and some aiming stability. And we're going to go towards ADS speed at negative 0.12 and not touch the left side. We go with the 45 round mag, biggest magazine we can have. Then we're going to use the Demo X2 grip, and we're going to tune it towards ADS speed at negative 0.19 and towards sprint to fire speed at negative 0.09. And finally, we're going to use the stock that will actually make our sprint speed better than the 74U, because what does it do? Increase our sprint speed and aim walking speed. It's going to make the mobility on this thing much nicer. And for the tuning, I go towards ADS speed at negative 2.84, and I go towards aiming auto stability at plus 0.46. The best close range weapon is the Lachmann sub, aka the MP5. Was there ever any doubt? It has the fastest time to kill on SMGs at 525 milliseconds, matching the Chimera that began this list. But the MP5 has great movement. It actually is the fastest base mobility submachine gun, but the P90 has better attachments for movement that make the Lachmann fall to the second fastest SMG. On top of the mobility and time to kill, we actually have great damage per mag and lower recoil, making it extremely easy to use while being good in every mode. This is my most used weapon in Season 2 of Warzone, and I only used other close range weapons this season to test out for you guys and make this video, because I don't recommend weapons or classes without first trying them out myself, and the only downside to the Lachmann sub is its range only being 8 meters. But it's so good at everything else, it just doesn't matter. And for the setup, this is going to be basically the same thing as that Vaznev 9K. We start with the X10 Razor Comp for recoil control, we tune towards recoil stabilization at plus 0.21, and gun kick control at plus 0.1. Then I use the Scraggler Tango, and we're going to tune it towards ADS speed at negative 0.12, and I don't touch the left side. But on this one, I actually don't use its biggest magazine. I only use the 40 round mag because I don't like the extra movement penalty of using the 50 round mag, but if you're in quads, it would make sense to switch over to the 50. Then I use the Lachmann TCG rear grip, which is going to be for recoil control, and then I tune it towards ADS speed and sprint to fire speed because it's still an SMG and we still need to be really good up close, so negative 0.23 and negative 0.2. Then the final thing, the FT mobile stock, which is going to be aiming stability, crouch movement speed, and ADS speed, all things that are going to help it perform much better up close. This thing is an absolute beam, and you can easily hit your shots at 25 meters, but it's going to be optimal to use inside of 8 meters. And for the tuning on this, we're going to go towards ADS speed at negative 2.84 and towards aiming auto stability at plus 1.32. That was the top 5 close range weapons. All of them are absolute beasts, and if you want to know what to pair them with, I have a video linked on screen right here of the top 5 long range weapons to make your classes perfect. Peace.